I am designing a new collection that is going to be a cozy, bookish theme. I really got my head down last week and I came up with 6 new designs. So these are the 6 that I initially designed. So I decided which 3 I wanted for pins. It was only going to be 1 or 2, but I couldn't decide, so it ended up being 3. And these are the 3 pins that I have sent off to the manufacturer. And so next on my list is to design a washi tape. I wanted to talk a little bit about Etsy and also about the changes that have happened on Etsy recently, the big announcements that have been made. I need to be doing something to remain competitive on the platform and stand out. I would love to know your thoughts on the washi tape so far, and also which is your favourite, blue or purple. Hi everyone and welcome to a brand new studio vlog. This was going to be a day in the life, but the day is fastly disappearing. I've got a bunch of exciting things I want to share with you in this vlog, mostly related to the brand new collection that I am designing. So if you didn't see last week's vlog, I am designing a new collection that is going to be a cozy, bookish theme, all ready for the autumn, because when I think of autumn, I get the major cozy vibes. It's my favourite season, and so kind of cuddling up with a warm drink and a good book is like the vibes that I want to come across in this collection. And I also started designing Sunshine Lane's first character, which is this little fox. So thank you so much to people that have been commenting name suggestions. I still haven't decided on a name, but I've been taking all your suggestions into account, and in some ways I think it's going to be even harder to pick because there's been loads of great suggestions. So thank you so much, and there's still time to send a suggestion if you would like to. And when I left you last week, I had finished doing just some initial sketches for the fox character. And after that, I was fully in the zone of designing things. So I carried on the next few days trying to put together some initial ideas for kind of designs for this collection. So I created 6, 3 with the fox in, 3 without. I don't think the characters necessarily need to be in every single product, but it's kind of everything in this collection is a part of Fox's world, if that makes sense. Because I am majorly pushed for time, as always, because I always decide to take on more than is probably sensible, I've decided that I would love to have this collection ready for when I go to the Southwest Planner Club event in September, mid-September, because I would love to launch it there. I think that would be so lovely. And I think the people that are going, like, that would be their vibe, and that they would really love seeing the new products in person. But from like last week when I first started, that was only about 5 weeks, and I also have another trade show in between like then and the Southwest Planner Club event, so I'm really probably doing a silly thing, but I'm really determined to make it come to life. So I really got my head down last week and I came up with 6 new designs, like I said, and I knew that enamel pins, which are one of my favourite things to produce, would take the longest to get here. So I sweet talked my pin manufacturer and they've said that it should be okay. I apologised profusely for the short notice, and I'm gonna do 3 new pin designs. I was only gonna do 1 or 2, but I got carried away. So knowing that I had to do the pin designs first, but kind of not knowing what other designs I wanted in the collection, what I decided to do was sketch out or like create the basis of these 6 designs. I didn't know it was going to be 6 when I started. I just kept doing more of them and then had to like cut it off. And I didn't worry about getting all the final details down. I just wanted to get like the base of how they would look and then decide which ones were going to be pin designs and finalise those first so that I can send them to the manufacturer. So I thought I would share with you those designs. So these are the 6 that I initially designed. So I have 3 with the fox, 1 kind of curled up on a stack of books with a lovely quote on the side. Read books, think big, stay curious. And I want it to be like a curious, open-minded character and like somebody who's curious to learn new things. Then I have 1 of the fox just chilling, reading a book, which on the book it says busy escaping reality, which I absolutely love the idea of just kind of coming away from the world, especially like as an introvert. I know how important that is, coming away from the world and just diving into a good book and getting lost in that world instead of facing whatever's going on in the real one, whether that be anything bad or just like everyday responsibilities. It's nice to just have that escape, and I think a good book gives you that. And then the last one with the fox is the fox just sitting reading a book, and it says I read past my bedtime, which I really, really love. And then I had 3 just like book designs without the character. So I've got 1 which is books are my therapy, and it's like an open book with a cup of tea and a trailing plant, and I quite liked that was like a clean design. Then I have 1 which is almost like a night sky, but like a pink night sky with like, this is where I brought stars into the collection, and I'm going to kind of add that across other things as well because I wanted to portray the idea of dreams. And it says to read is to dream with your eyes open, because obviously the things that you can imagine from books and the worlds you can enter and picture yourself in, or even the things you can learn about yourself, like non-fiction books, the things you can learn and like imagine the different ways your life could be in the future. Like there's so many different things you can take from it. Loved that one. And then the last one is the one I did at Starbucks right at the beginning of last week's vlog, which is I have no shelf control with the bookshelf, and I made it smaller. I kind of wish I hadn't. I might make it bigger again, and I just want to ram loads of books in at different angles and make it so those of us that kind of have a book collection that grows and grows and grows can relate to it. And so those are my 6 initial designs, and all of them I'm going to turn into stickers. I'm going to decide how I might use these designs on other items too, like tote bags. I want to do mugs and tumblers. I want to do a washi tape. I want to do some form of notepads in there, and I might even do a reading journal. I'm so excited about that. I really hope I can pull that off. So I decided which 3 I wanted for pins. Like I said, it was only going to be 1 or 2, but I couldn't decide, so it ended up being 3. And these are the 3 pins that I have sent off to the manufacturer to be designed. I love them, and I love how they've come together, and I just spent a while like then really focusing on the final designs and the little details, and also printing them at like size. And I could see, for example, the one with the open book, the initial design of the mug was too detailed, too many things going on for like such a small pin. So I simplified the design for that, and then I might use a busier design if it's like on a big print, for example. So just, yeah, focusing on those little details and sending them off. So I have paid for the pins, and I am waiting for my proofs. They should be coming through today, if not Monday morning. So I'm really, really excited about that. And so next on my list is to design a washi tape. And what I've started doing is in my weekly newsletter that I send out using OmniSend, I have put together a little section which is like behind the design, and I give like a first look at designs I've been working on, how the process is going, like why I've made certain decisions and things like that. And so if you subscribe to my newsletter, you will have been one of the first people to see these new pin designs. So if you don't already subscribe, what are you doing? Because I also put a special offer in there for the bullet journals. So I'm going to leave a link below so that you can sign up, and you also get 10% off your first order when you sign up. So it's a no-brainer, but yeah, you get to have those like behind the scenes peeks at stuff before anyone else. So it's a new little series I've started, and I'm really enjoying sending out these weekly newsletters and making it like a newsletter as well as sending through offers and things, and I think it's got a really lovely feel. So that's what I've spent some time doing this morning, is putting together a blog post about the pin designs and then kind of condensing that into my email and sending it out to people with a link to read more and to see the pin designs. So yeah, super happy with how that turned out. And I've mentioned in a few previous vlogs that I've been using OmniSend for my emails, and just to let you know that it's still working really well for me. This isn't sponsored, this segment of the video. It's working really well for me. I'm finding it really easy to kind of link products seamlessly from my emails to my Shopify store without a lot of hassle and messing around that I found with using other email providers that was taking me too much time. So then I wasn't doing a weekly newsletter because I just couldn't fit it in. But now it's really quick and easy to do. It looks nicely branded and Sunshine Lane, and I'm still seeing results come back and like more sales through my emails. So that's really, really good. So if you want to try OmniSend, I always have a link in my descriptions of my videos. It'd be fab if you could go through the link so that they know that I sent you to say hi, but you can actually start with a free plan and just see how you like it. So I'll leave that link below. But yeah, subscribe to my newsletter. I think you'd really like it. So on today's agenda for the rest of the day, I want to get started on designing the washi tape. But before that, I need to work on some wholesale orders that have come through from the trade show I did, Home and Gift, and also just from some of my existing stockists, as well as I'm still trying to get all the wildflower products together to send to my existing stockists that I've got, because they're still not in the shops. Let me show you what we've been working on, and this is where I have to give my mum huge props. If you don't know, my mum's now working with me 2 days a week, Alison, and she has been working so hard on getting all these products and orders together so that I can be focusing on this new bookish collection. So let me show you the state of affairs at Sunshine Lane headquarters. So here we have piles of things for my existing stockists. So I've got 3 different piles here for different stockists, one to be posted and the other 2 I'm going to take down and just refresh the displays because they're not too far away, and I can take some products off and put my new products on and make things look all lovely. So we've got lists of who needs what, and I also message them about any existing products that are running low so that I can save postage and take it with me when I go. So we've been preparing all that. So there's lots of wildflower stuff in each pile, plus other stuff they're running low on, but we've been putting so many things together that I've been running out of stuff, and so none of these orders so far have been able to be completed and go, which is why we've got so many piles everywhere. I was waiting for some ring box packaging, which has just come. I'm waiting for some more tumblers, I'm waiting for some more tote bag transfers, I'm waiting for all sorts. So that's those. And then over here is more piles of orders. So I think we've got 1, 2, 3 here, wholesale orders that came through. And then I've managed to get 3 others out this week, or should I say Mum's managed to get 3 others out this week. But for this little one here, I need to make some mirrors, so we're going to do that in a set. And then these 2 are just waiting for 1 tote bag each. How annoying is that? But the transfers should be coming today, so if they do, I can get those ready and send those out as well. But first, let's make some more mirrors for this one. She actually left me a little to-do list. Lovely office out, and I also have some hanging decorations to do as well as the mirrors, some tumblers to do. I'm still waiting for tumblers to arrive, the actual bases of the stainless steel tumblers. Maybe they'll come today. I know the courier has them, but I can get cracking on with the hanging decorations, so I'm going to do them as well while I've got the heat press on. Well, that has made me quite hot and bothered, standing by the heat press on a warm afternoon, but I'm happy I've got that done because it's one more wholesale order out the door and on its way to a stockist. So that is something. And I want to take a few pictures of those pocket mirrors and update the website, because I used to offer that design in rose gold and I've only got one rose gold one left. And I would really like to offer them in silver. I think they look really, really pretty. So I think I'm just going to take a quick photo and update the website, but then we are going to design the washi tape to go with my bookish cozy autumn collection. So I've got a bit of an idea, but not a huge idea. So I'm going to have a play around with a few things and see what I end up liking. So let's go and do that, and I'll show you the process of designing my washi tape. So I really wanted it to contain a lot of the other designs that I showed you at the beginning of this video, so that it had matching elements to all the other products in the collection. And so I started with my other design file open and just copying across different elements to my washi tape template and kind of adjusting the sizing and combining elements from different designs together to create a slightly different look. Anywhere where there were quotes on the illustrations, I knew that shrinking them would probably make them too small to read, and so I pulled those off the illustration, and I plan to just have them kind of dotted along the washi tape between the different designs. The dreaming design is the one I played around with the most. I felt like it needed the most adjustment to fit on the washi tape and look like it was flowing alongside the rest of the illustrations, and I took away a lot of the stars and a lot of the detail. I thought I had it cracked, but I decided to make the font a little bit bigger, and so I just adjusted the lines and the stars until I was happy with it. So before I show you how it's looking so far, I want to talk to you a little bit about Etsy. So I recently got a message to ask whether I'm going to be adding my wildflower collection to my Etsy shop, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about Etsy and also about the changes that have happened on Etsy recently, the big announcements that have been made. So if you haven't seen, in the last couple of weeks Etsy have released some new policies called their creativity standards, and basically Etsy is cracking down on what people are able to sell on the platform, and they're doing this by introducing 4 new categories that your products must fit into. And these are items made by the seller, designed by the seller, sourced by the seller, or handpicked by the seller. Now, for some time now, there's been concerns of dropshippers selling products on Etsy and people importing kind of cheaply made, mass-produced products from other countries and trying to pass them off on Etsy as handmade products. And obviously they can price them a lot lower than we can as small business owners, and so they might then be more appealing to customers. And this has always been against Etsy's terms of service, but you're always going to get those people that are going to try and get away with it and see if they can do it. And when I first saw these new policy changes, I was really worried because I thought that the sourced by and handpicked by categories would now mean that those people could sell those items on the platform and it be within the policies, if that makes sense, because I kind of took sourced by to mean, well, yeah, I could just source items from abroad and then sell them on Etsy. But having done some research into it to make sure I was understanding it correctly, that's not what it means. And so I just wanted to have a bit of a chat about it. So I pulled the definitions out of the new creativity standards, and sourced by means items that enable the buyer to be creative, such as craft supplies, party decorations, things like that, or items that buyers can personalise and items that are done through print on demand. And then handpicked by means vintage items, items from nature, and also certain collections of items curated by a seller. Kind of think gift baskets, gift bundles, things like that, but there's specific rules around it. So it doesn't include that category of people trying to import stuff for cheap and then sell it on Etsy as handmade. And they've actually brought these new categories in to try and make it clearer and try and clamp down on those people selling on the platform that shouldn't be. Now, I'm hoping that this will actually be a positive move, because for years sellers have been asking for a bit more of a clear distinction between items that are handmade and items that are designed by a seller. And we will now have that because they're 2 very clear separate categories. But also, assuming that Etsy are going to make these categories clear to buyers and what they mean, I'm assuming that customers who really want to support handmade designs and original designs will then be able to filter for those on Etsy, because Etsy is the type of marketplace that they're going to for that. They're going there for that reason. So if they can then filter it, those of us who do have handmade designs and original designed items will hopefully be able to stand out a little bit more, and customers will be able to find us a little bit easier. That's what I'm hoping. Now, I started selling through my own website using Shopify in May 2022, but I've always kept my Etsy shop open for 2 reasons. The first one is that it's a search engine and it helps customers that don't know about Sunshine Lane to find me. So those customers that I talked about that want to find original designs, something a bit more unique that you're not going to find in every shop, they're looking on Etsy and they don't know about Sunshine Lane. They're not going to come to my website. But searching on Etsy, my products have a chance to be in front of them and new customers find Sunshine Lane, which is really great. And then secondly, some of my customers outside of the UK do still like to purchase through Etsy because they can pay any customs fees and taxes up front through Etsy, and items don't get delayed at customs waiting for the buyer to be contacted and then that payment to be collected when the items are entering the country, because it's already handled up front on Etsy. But I do periodically wonder whether it's worth still keeping the 2 shops running. And usually it's around this time where I've just released a collection on Shopify, And I think to myself, now you've got to do all those product listings again on Etsy, and it's duplication of work, so I want to make sure it's worth the time and effort to do it. So while I was doing these research about the changes on Etsy and stuff, I thought I would just have a quick look at some of the sales statistics on Etsy, because I am a massive nerd and I love a statistic. So I looked over the last 5 years, and there's been a huge growth in buyers on Etsy over the last 5 years. So in 2019, it was around 45 million buyers, and in 2023, it was 92 million. So it was over double. But then I thought, that is all well and good, but what about the number of sellers on Etsy? Because obviously, if there's a big increase in buyers, but an even bigger increase in sellers, then it's going to be harder for you to stand out. So there aren't really many published statistics around this. Etsy are going to prioritise promoting their sales statistics. However, what we do know is that during the pandemic, there was a huge surge in new sellers opening up shops on Etsy. People were rethinking their careers, they were pivoting to something else. They were maybe opening up a side hustle while their normal place of work was closed, and seeing if they could grow it and maybe change to that in the long term rather than stay in whatever their previous role was. So for a number of reasons, lots and lots of new shops were popping up on Etsy during that time. And then throughout 2022 to 2023, when things were really open back up again, the growth slowed a lot. So there's still been a kind of steady growth of new sellers joining the platform, but there's also going to be shops closing. People won't necessarily do it for the long term for whatever reason. And so it's a little bit up and down, but overall the trend has been that sellers have gone up. So that's what we know. So overall, I've made the decision that I am going to keep my Etsy shop open, because clearly there's an opportunity there when the buyers on the platform are going up and up and up. But if there are also more sellers, I need to make a conscious effort to put the right amount of effort into my Etsy shop. There's no point just doing the Etsy listings and hoping something will happen, because that probably isn't a good use of time. I need to be doing something to remain competitive on the platform and stand out. And so one area I'm going to work on to try and get this competitive edge is my search engine optimization and trying to improve the keywords on my product listings. And that is where I want to introduce the sponsor of this next segment of the video, which is Everbee. Everbee is a game changer for Etsy sellers. Trying to figure out what to sell and how to make it sell can feel like a never-ending puzzle, but having Everbee is like having a trusty sidekick that helps you find the answers. It shows you what's popular, what people are searching for, and even gives you a heads up on what your competitors are doing. And the best part is the Everbee Chrome extension puts all that information right at your fingertips as you're searching through Etsy, so you can stop the guesswork and just focus on making data-driven decisions. So as you sign into Everbee, you link it with your Etsy account. This is the easiest thing to do. And then when you're signed into Everbee for the first time, you'll see this dashboard which has statistics for your Etsy shop. Now from here, you'll see a checklist on the bottom right hand side that says Getting Started Checklist. And there is a button that says Install your Everbee Chrome extension. So if you click on that, it will take you straight to the page where you can add the Everbee Chrome extension to your browser. And once that's done, it'll take you back to Etsy, but this time you'll see a little toolbar down the left-hand side that says Everbee. And so every time you're on Etsy, this toolbar will appear on the left-hand side, which is really, really handy. It means you haven't got to go backwards and forwards between different websites when you're carrying out your product research. So if you go to that left-hand menu, you'll see there is a list of research tools. And the first thing I decided to do was to start doing some research for my weekly desk pad. So I went to keyword research and I just typed in weekly desk pad. This is what I've been calling it in my listings. It's what I've been calling it in my videos. It's just what it is in my head. So I popped that into the keyword research tool, and in the related keywords, it was mainly coming up with mousepad type items, which is great for my mousepad listing, but I realised that perhaps weekly desk pad isn't what people would be searching for, because the related searches, it just didn't seem to bring up things that were obvious to me. So because this kind of stumped me and I wasn't sure what to search for, instead I went back to Etsy and I actually searched for weekly desk pad to see what products came up. And my thinking was to look at the most popular listings that are appearing at the top of search and see what keywords they were using. Now you'll see under some of the listings it says add by Etsy seller, and so I ignored those ones because obviously they were appearing there because of paid advertising, and so I opened some of the other ones that were somewhat like my weekly planner. And then if we look at one of these listings, you'll see there's a button that says analyze listing under the listing title and a little B to show you that that's one of the Everbee tools. And so I clicked on Analyze Listing, and you can see it brings up a bunch of information here, including the tags that have been used. You can see here this is quite a good listing because it says the average conversion rate is 3.3, which means the rate of people looking at the item and then actually deciding to buy it, and so converting it from just someone browsing to someone actually buying. And the average for online sales is about 1.7. So I clicked the 2 arrows to expand it so that I could see all the information here for these tags. And I started looking at the keyword scores and just making a note of which keywords I might want to include in my listing. And I was kind of looking at keywords of about 60 or over. So looking at this list, I wrote down productivity pad, which I never would have thought of. You can actually expand the column. So if any are cut off because it's a long keyword phrase, then you can expand it to see what the full phrase is. And I also wrote down tear off planner pad. And I then did this for about 6 listings. And I tried to get a range of listings from different shops because I was noticing that if a shop had a few A4 desk planners, let's say, that they were kind of using similar keywords across them. So to try and get as big a variety as possible, I was looking for products from different shops. And so I just kept repeating that process, looking at the conversion rates on the products, seeing if it was kind of a good example, and then looking at their keywords to see which of these keywords was the most likely to be searched for to bring the customer to this page in the first place. And I just kept adding to my list. Now, once I had a few of these, I decided to go back to that keyword research tool and type in some different key phrases. Now that I had a bit of a list, and I kind of use that list as a brainstorm to think about other ideas, or just simply to pop those search terms in and see what other related phrases it came up with. Now, I did notice that I was getting a lot of things related to digital planning, which is obviously a big trend at the moment. And so firstly, that's a good insight to know if you wanted to go down that route. But you can actually press the filter button and you can start to filter these results a little bit. So with the filters, you can add words to definitely include or exclude, and so I typed digital into the exclude box so that it got rid of all the digital planner listings. So I repeated this for different search terms and it gave me a lot of different ideas, and I just kept popping down the ones that I felt fit this product the best. And if I came across any that I actually thought would fit some of my other products, then I jotted those down too. So feeling like I'd got a good selection, I actually started setting up the listing on Etsy, and the first thing I did was add the title. And whilst this isn't the full title I'm going to use, I need to finish that off, I made sure I had one of my key phrases right up front. So I went for A4 weekly desk planner with wildflower design. So it's a great description of what the product is, and the key phrase weekly desk planner that was ranking highly is right up front, so it's more likely to bring people to this listing. I added some photos and I started filling in some of the basic details, and then I went down to the tags section and I just typed my list into here and put all those tags into this section, feeling pretty good that this time it was actually based off some research and not plucking things out of my head and hoping for the best, which is my usual strategy. I mean, we've all done it, we all do it, but it just made me feel a bit better to think that I was actually doing these listings based on some research. One thing to remember is you don't just want to put your tags in here, leave them there and not do anything else. You want to try and weave some of these key phrases into your title and description in a way that feels natural to read, because the more places they appear, the more likely it is that Etsy is going to rank you in search for that keyword, you're going to appear higher and it's more likely a customer is going to find you and click on your listing. So that is something I am going to come back and do, as well as listing all my other wildflower products on Etsy. I'm really excited now to go back and do more research on my other products in the wildflower collection. So if you want to give Everbee a try, there's actually a free plan you can start with, and it's free forever. So with their free plan, you get access to the product analytics, the keyword research tool we looked at, and the filters, but it's only going to return 10 keywords at a time when you're using that keyword research tool. I'm actually using the growth plan at the moment, which is just under $30 a month, and it gives you a lot more information. You're going to get all the keywords returned, so you can really deep dive into the different keywords and what might work for your shop and your listings. It also includes that tag analyzer that I used, which helps you to look at tags that are bringing people to your competitors' shops, which was really useful. So whether you want to start on the free plan or give the growth plan a try, I'm going to leave the links you need in the description below. Please follow those links to let Everbee know that I sent you their way. It's really helping out this channel. And a massive thank you to Everbee for sponsoring this segment of the video and for helping me optimize my Etsy listings and try and set myself up for success, which I'm really excited about. So all my products are up on Etsy now, all the wildflower products, which is a big job. Well done, even if I do say so myself. I'm really glad that is now done, because it's a big job that was kind of looming over me, and it's hard to get the momentum to keep repeating the same task on different platforms. So yeah, I'm glad that's there, and anyone who was waiting to shop the wildflower collection on Etsy can now do so. And now I want to update you on how the washi tape has been going. So I have been doing a little bit more tinkering, basically adding in more quotes, fussing around with the line art, having to think about backing colours, and it's still not 100% done. I want to add more details onto the book covers and the spines of the books and just finalise what quotes are going on there and things. But I really like how it's coming together. So I'm thinking for a backing colour that I have a tendency to go with cream or pink a lot, apart from my gold foiled washi tape, which is on a blue background. So I don't want to do cream or pink again, or do I? I do want to do cream or pink again, but I'm resisting. And so I have two options, I think, so far for backing colours, and here they are. So we have a blue and a purple backing, like lighter colours than the main kind of vibrant, more bold colours in the collection. So I would love to know your thoughts on the washi tape so far. If you could leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and also let me know which is your favourite, blue or purple, then I would really appreciate it, and I can finalise this design and get it sent off to the manufacturer this week. I am going to be trying a new washi manufacturer, so we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I really love how this washi is coming together. I wanted it to be a kind of amalgamation of the different designs within the collection and kind of take elements from here and there and pull it together so that the washi tape kind of coordinates with different bits and pieces. And yeah, I really like how it's turning out so far. So that is going to be it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed hearing more about how the Bookish collection is going and seeing the pin designs, the washi design so far. I hope you appreciated the kind of clarification around Etsy and the changes and stuff, and just hearing a little bit more about that and how you might use keywords to stand out on Etsy a bit more and try and appear higher on search. And so if you did, please like the video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. All the likes and comments and things, they're really helping to push these videos out and for YouTube to show it to more people who might like it too. And that's really helping this channel, so I really appreciate it. I see you doing it every week and I really appreciate it. So until next week, pop an emoji in the comments if you've got this far with your comment about the washi tape. And this week we will go for a stack of books. So pop me some books in the comments below with your opinions on the washi, and take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye everyone!